Hello once again, Lady, and to the viewers. And right now we're coming to you from the stall of the company that literally stood up and responded to the challenges 2 years ago when the world was beset by coronavirus. Let's bring in now Emile Hendricks, researcher at Afrigen. Thank you so much for talking to us. I was looking at one of your promos and it says, injecting the continent and the world with hope. Tell us what Afrigen does.
It's lovely to be here. So Afrigen is established as the mRNA technology transfer hub. So we are responsible for developing and designing the mRNA technology, which will eventually be transferred to various spokes in the global south to give them the capability to produce their own vaccines.
Let's just talk about how your firm responded to the COVID-19 outbreak. President Cyril Ramaphosa even mentioned you in his opening speech here. That just reflects the significance of the work that you do.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So I think COVID-19 showed us the vast inequalities that exist in vaccine distribution and access in the African continent and in the global south. So the aim of this project was truly to tackle that inequality and to give Africa and low to middle income countries all over the global south the ability to not just have access to vaccines, but to produce their own vaccines and to tackle their own burden of disease. So we are trying to empower the global south to make sure that in the next pandemic they are ready to prepare, they are prepared and they're able to respond to the crises and to protect their citizens as they should be able to.
And that response comes in the form of actual building up of logistics. Let's talk about the mRNA hub that you have. It's in the Western Cape, isn't it?
Yes, it is in Montague Gardens in Milnerton. We actually started with the construction facility February of last year. We're just about finished with it. We are currently actively trying to get our facilities approved by the regulators so we can get in there early next year to produce clinical trial material that will go into phase 1, into human trials, and then hopefully into commercialization.
As the country starts to talk about the low uptake of vaccines, what challenges are you facing here?
So I think in terms of low uptake of vaccines during the population, it is tackling a lot of misinformation that is currently being spread around mRNA vaccines. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding of what this vaccine is, where it came from, the time frame within which it was approved to market authorization. And we as a company are just trying to involve the public as much as possible through interactions like the one we're having now, trying to educate the public as much as possible what we are trying to do with this vaccine. And
just in that conversation, how much are you bringing, we're at the World Science Forum now, just how much are you bringing the population along just in terms of explaining to them of what the science of putting up of a vaccine is?
I think we're trying as much as possible to interact with the public through our partners with the Medicine Patent Pool. They've been very generous at making sure we get as much media exposure as possible. I think in any science it's very difficult to sometimes explain to the general population simply because of all the word vomit and the jargon that goes into it, but it's trying to truly humanize the science and to try to make people understand that we are doing this for the population, we're doing this for Africa, we're doing this for the global south. It is not a vaccine that's being produced for the sake of a vaccine. It is a vaccine produced to address vaccine inequality.
What are the latest developments in terms of the production of vaccines? We hear globally a talk about new coronavirus strains that are coming up that could be more dangerous than the ones we've previously been exposed to. What conversations are taking place in this regard?
So Afrigen is currently working very closely with various of our industry partners because we have lots of partners in academia, in industry that are currently actively monitoring these COVID-19 variants, how they're spreading and the difficulty of addressing them. So we are currently in talks with them, trying to design constructs, trying to design our vaccine to make sure that we are addressing it, the latest version, as much as possible. But I think what we are trying to do with Afrigen most of all is we're trying to establish a vaccine platform. So once our vaccine platform has been established, we'll be able to address these problems with a lot more urgency as it needs to be addressed.
How are you engaging with the theme of science for social justice?
Absolutely. That is the entire aim of this project, is to create a vaccine platform, a vaccine technology that is suitable for low to middle income countries, to give those countries the ability to tackle their own burden of disease. And I think that within itself is what this forum and this organization is trying to do.
You're a researcher yourself. What attracted you as a young person to science?
I think it's all about discovering, it's all about creating something new and creating value and something that will touch the lives of so many people that you'll probably never even meet. The art of science is about discovering what is not already known and breaking boundaries, and that is exactly what this project is doing, and I'm so proud to be a part of it.
We're really happy to have spoken to you. Emile Hendricks is a researcher at Afrigen, and let's take it on a break now, and then it's back to the studio in Johannesburg.